Hey COMM students, Dr. Sloan here. I'm going to take just a minute to summarize what we've studied so far in COMM4100 Communication Ethics. And I'm also going to overview what we'll look at this week, our third week in the class, which will mean that we are very soon to the halfway point, very close to the halfway point in COMM4100. So in week one, we focused on frameworks having to do with this idea of altruism. So what, again, is altruism? Simply enough, altruism is the idea that to live and behave and communicate ethically, it is to put others before self, to look out for others' best interest and to care for others. So when we're using one of those frameworks, each of them in their own unique way argues that the most ethical way to live or exist or communicate is to think of others and their well-being and the ethical outcome based on how that affects others. Then in week two, we move to looking at ethical frameworks dealing with this idea of egoism. So what, again, is egoism? Well, based on the theorists that we read, it can mean a lot of things. So for example, you see this Nietzsche quote on the screen: egoism is the very essence of a noble soul. And he and Rand and similar egoist theories are basically arguing that it's not about self-centeredness or selfishness in the normal connotation that you and I think of selfishness, but egoism is really the idea that we should care for ourselves and we should look for our own best interests, because that's what makes the world great. That's what creates innovation and good ideas, and people are truly happy, versus what egoists would say about altruists, which is that we are told to care for others and therefore minimize ourselves and our own self-worth. And so egoism is really this very different lens from viewing the world, different from what we are accustomed to hearing in American culture, and especially in a Christian faith system culture, to put yourself first or to think of your own great ambitions and ideas as foremost. That makes egoism very unique when compared to our normal experiences. This week we're shifting gears again, and we'll be reading frameworks and about autonomy. So each framework this week will address the idea of autonomy. And basically each theorist this week is making some argument that states it is most ethical when we have the ability to choose our own path, to influence ourselves, when we have natural rights and protected rights according to our government systems and our religious systems. And so whereas altruism argued it's ethical when you care for others, and egoism argued it is most ethical when you care for yourself, autonomy ethicists will argue it is most ethical when you have the right to control and influence yourself, your own life, your own choices, your own rights. So I hope this quick little summary of weeks 1 through 3 is helpful as I try to succinctly explain where we've been so far, and I hope that you really are growing in the ability to identify what you believe and what ethical standards you want to abide by, because the difference between just having morals and living ethically is often the ability to articulate what influences or what determines your decision making. And so that's going to be a big thing that you guys have all experienced that the rest of the world has not, that you'll be able to articulate, this is my belief and therefore I apply this belief, and that is what leads me to decision X or decision Y. So I hope it's been fun. I look forward to grading your week 2 summaries and applications today, and I will get those grades posted as soon as possible. All right, thanks for watching.